Hello and welcome to my video on Football Manager 15. This video is mainly for my dad, who passed his love of football on to me, and I just wanted to kind of show him the game that I've been telling him about and what it was all about. So let's take a look. Currently managing Manchester United, my favorite team in the English Premiership. This is my second season, the beginning of my second season, and I was fortunate enough to win the league last year, which has put us, of course, back in the Champions League. So we do have some more challenges to meet this year. There's quite a bit to this. What happens is you're basically taking over the team as the manager. You don't actually play the games. You're managing the team, and the computer simulates the games for you based on your tactics, your team instructions, the players you have playing in whatever positions you deem necessary. So let's jump right into the tactics, because that is the main sort of portion of the game here, and see what that's all about. Now, as you can see here, it gives you some room for setting up the team and what sort of formations you want to play, what sort of tactics you wish to use. My main tactic is the one displayed here. It's a 4-3-3, playing with 3 forwards, 3 midfielders, 4 defenders. However, with the defenders, I choose to push up the fullbacks to the wing-back position, which is a much more attacking position. And that's what gives us width, because I actually play the midfield and the forwards quite narrow, as you can see. The forwards are all deep-lying forwards. You can see Van Persie, Rooney, and Memphis Depay, all deep-lying forwards, which it keeps them a little bit closer with the midfield and provides a little more connection and play. The midfield 3 I have set up with the middle central midfielder as a deep-lying playmaker on a defend instruction. The other 2 to either side are still central midfielders. As you can see, they're not pushed out too wide, and they're actually in a roaming playmaker position, which gives them freedom to kind of roam around and find the space and make the plays. Of course, at the heart of any football team, you have your 2 central defenders. As you can see, I've done a bit of business in the transfer market and really shored up the midfield and defense areas for Manchester United over the past year. Brought in Toni Kroos, Coca from Spain, Victor Wanyama from Southampton. John Stones taking up the right centre-back position, brought him in from Everton, an excellent young defender. And Jan Vertonghen brought in from Spurs. For some reason, Spurs wanted to sell him, and I was only too happy to take him on. They've both been pillars of strength for me in central defense for the last year, and hopefully will be again this season. And speaking of pillars of strength, of course, we have David De Gea in goal, Spanish international, very strong between the sticks. Chosen to go with this formation in an attacking instruction. It produces very nice football, scores a lot of goals, and is also still pretty good defensively because we are playing the 3 central midfielders with the deep-lying playmaker. So what happens is you just choose who you want in your starting lineup. That's listed right here. As you can see, David De Gea is set up as a sweeper keeper. The 2 central defenders, the 2 wing-backs, Alves and Shaw, the 3 central midfielders here, and of course the 3 forwards here. If I wanted to play different players in those positions, I'm of course free to do so with the reserve players I have in the squad. All you simply do is just drag and drop. So for example, if say Jan Vertonghen here was injured or perhaps tired because we had just played a game a couple of days ago, I could take one of our reserve players, in this case Eder Alvarez Balanta, Colombian international, and I could just take him and drag him over here and put him in if that's what I wanted to do. In this case, it's the first game of the season and everybody's nice and fresh, so I'm going to be playing my strongest lineup, which I believe is this right here. Of course, you're allowed 7 substitutions in a Premiership game, and I've chosen to go with 7 outfield players, not including a goalkeeper, and taking a bit of a risk if David De Gea were to be injured. Fortunately, in this game, goalkeepers do not get injured very often, so it's pretty safe to go with 7 outfield players. Your squad listing is here. The players are rated by the stars ratings. Essentially for the Premiership, 2 stars, as you can see, Chris Smalling here, central defender, is 2 stars. 2 stars is, is average for the Premier League, good enough. Anything 2.5 stars or greater is a good player in the English Premier League or the Spanish La Liga or the German Bundesliga, any of the top leagues. As you can see, quite a few players have more than 2.5 stars. David De Gea is a 4-star player, which is a fantastic player. As you can see, it's a superb rating for the senior team. And that's essentially how you can tell your players how good they are for each position. The first row of stars you see here is their current ability, so how good they currently are. And then, of course, the next row of stars is their potential and how good they can be if you train them properly and play them in games. If you leave them sitting on the bench the whole time, they will not improve, obviously, because they're not playing. Now, in addition to your senior squad, which is displayed here, because you are managing the team, you're managing the full team, so you also have your under-21 squad, essentially your reserve squad here, and this is my under-21 squad. Not the most brilliant. It's something I'm going to be working on in the future. The immediate task that was given to me by the chairman was to get Manchester United back into the Champions League and back into the fight for the English Premiership, which we were successful in last year. Now, also in addition to the under-21s, you have your youth squad, which is the under-18s. This is my youth squad here. The best player I have currently here is Daniel Bowers, who's projected to be a 3.5-star player, which is a very good rating for the senior team. Eventually, just a youngster right now at 17 years old, but hopefully some big things will come from him. I mentioned how you improve players through training and experience on the pitch. You also have training to do with your team. This is the team training page. You're just setting up general training right now because it's the beginning of the season. I am training them currently on the tactics that we're using, the formation, and the tactical instructions I've given them. And preparation for the matches upcoming, I've chosen attacking movement because I want to start the season off with a bang and get some goals past the other team's keeper and get the fans excited and wanting to continue to buy tickets. Transfers are a big part of this as well. As you can see earlier, I made a lot of changes to the team. You do this via scouting, and as you can see, I've done quite a bit of scouting. These are all the players I have scouted. Your transfers are a big part of the game. Last year made quite a few transfers, shipped out a lot of players who I thought were fringe players or weren't going to fit my philosophy for the team, and brought in players that I thought would. So that is essentially what you're doing here in a nutshell. There's sort of a lot of nuances to the game, but essentially what it aims to do is simulate as much as it can being a manager of a football club. There's lots of statistics and progress reports and things to follow if you're a math sort of person. It's very interesting from that perspective. But you can make it as simple or as complicated as you want. For a lot of the things I just mentioned, like the training and so on and so forth, you can actually have your assistants take care of that for you if you just wanted to do a simple game and just manage the first team squad and play the games out and get your seasons in. I choose to take control of everything because I think I can do a better job than the AI assistants. Anyway, my first game of the season is upcoming. We've played through the preseason. The Community Shield, because we won the Premier League last year, played against Chelsea and actually won 2-0 at Wembley Stadium. Fantastic game, Wayne Rooney and Memphis Depay scoring the goals. It was a very tight game. The first goal didn't come until the 68th minute, as you can see with Wayne Rooney. And it was a great win and a great way to start off the season. My first game of the season is against Burnley. Not exactly a major squad, so we're hoping for a big win to start the season. And what I'll do is, in my next video, we'll play the first game of the season against Burnley and take a look at how the computer simulates out the game and how the season progresses. Thanks for taking a look, and Dad, check out my next video to see the first game of the season against Burnley and essentially how the game plays. Thanks very much.